You're listening to the Crew Talk Podcast, a conversation about chasing growth. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Crew Talk Podcast. That was kind of loud. Sorry about that. It's been a little bit of a break, but this is our season finale for the solo series at SGU, and I have a recurring guest, Victoria. Let her talk about herself a little bit. Y'all probably already know, but she'll introduce herself, and then we'll just get into it.
Yeah, so I'm Victoria, I'm Term 2 vet, and I'm from Boston.
Yep, she's from Boston.
I'm a Boston girl.
So last time we had you on with our smaller friend.
Nora the Explorer.
Nora the Explorer, she left us hanging today, but that's all good. But yeah, you're a vet student, and I guess we can dive a little bit deeper into that, because I feel like, I know more about it, but I feel like the viewers probably like, oh, I just thought they went to undergrad and just started loving animals or what.
Facts.
So what the journey, your journey specifically, how did it start?
So slightly funny story about that. I was talking to my friends the other day, and we figured out where my wanting to be a vet came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always loved animals, but I've never had a pet, which I think I might have mentioned last time. But my mom was telling me a story when I've been horseback riding like one time. I want to be a small animal vet. Horses, cows, not my thing.
Right.
So at one time I was like 6, and we went up to New Hampshire, and my mom walked me over to this horse, and the instructor was right there. And instead of being a normal kid just getting on the horse, I looked under it and said, "Look, Mom, it's a boy horse." And I thought my poor mother was going to die of embarrassment. The horse's name was Tomato, by the way. I still remember it. And I think that's when I realized I wanted to be a vet, when at age 6 I sexed a horse.
You sexed a horse. Every other kid was like, put me on, want to ride. And you're like,
it was a boy.
What's under there? Eric, no.
So I think that's where it all started.
Okay, so sexing horses, that's
Yep.
Vic's origin story.
Yep.
Fitting, very fitting. Alright, so okay.
Very.
So I guess I feel like from childhood to like undergrad, pretty standard, like normal college student. So then, like, how does it transition from like an interest in vet to like going to vet school? What's next?
I think a lot of little kids want to be vets, and then when you get to high school, a lot of people realize it's not for them.
Mm-hmm.
I still wanted to be it, so I went to UMass Amherst, and I went pre-vet.
Mm-hmm.
So you start as animal science and kind of switch over. So it's almost like pre-med track. You take a lot of those similar courses, but then you also do like hours on the farm, and you learn like animal anatomy, not human.
Mm-hmm.
And then after my freshman year at UMass, I got a job at Mass Vet, which is like a very good emergency hospital, like right next to where I live, in Boston. Boston.
You pop your car.
Harvard Yard.
We don't talk about them. We don't even talk about
Pats
Yale. No, none of that. None of that's supported over here.
Yeah, so I got a job at Mass Vet, and then I realized, because usually once you get a job working in a clinic,
Mm-hmm.
you either know it's what you want to do, or you're like, never mind, this is not for me.
Right.
And then, like, my first day on the job, I had, like, no experience. This kind of threw me in there. There were, like, 3 hit by cars. There was, like, a couple, like, dogs that came in with, like, internal bleeding. They were trying to bleed out. Like, it was super fast-paced. I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I watched the vets, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay. So I kept going through UMass, and then I got all those experience hours. I got experience on the farm. I worked at the aquarium for a summer, then went to the aquarium. I got to do like necropsies, which is like an autopsy on animals.
Okay.
I got to like draw meds, dose meds, help with surgeries, monitor under anesthesia, and all that stuff. And I was like, this is definitely what I want to do. And then applying to vet school, it's probably pretty similar to med school, but you pretty much fill out one application and check off all the schools you want to send it to.
Yeah.
Then you send it, and then they get back to you with like what supplemental things you need.
Okay. So I guess like the biggest question, I never thought about it until like I was asked you, because I was never around people interested in vet school. Like, it's very similar in terms of like being like a healthcare worker, but why animals? You know what I mean? Because I feel like everything you name, I can parallel that to like medicine.
People are just the worst. like okay, this is gonna sound really bad, but when you have an animal and they're kind of acting up or they're being aggressive or whatever, and you can't work on them, you just drug them, and then you can do whatever you want because the owner signed off and they're like, yes, do these X-rays, do these procedure, whatever.
Yeah.
So if the animal isn't cooperating, you just drug them.
Mm-hmm.
If a human's not cooperating, that's a whole nother mental headache.
Yeah.
And then like, not to get into like insurance and stuff, but right, like insurance with the healthcare is like obviously messed up, and then but right now insurance for animals like doesn't really give you any obstacles as a vet. You can still do whatever you want and then just build the insurance. It's less like restrictive.
Yeah.
So I feel like overall, not that it's an easier field at all, but it's just there are less hurdles, I feel.
Yeah.
And just who doesn't want to, like, I just want to be general practice, so that means I'm going to be seeing puppies, kittens, giving vaccines, wellness appointments. Who doesn't want to cuddle puppies for a living?
But doesn't that, like, don't you think being a vet might make you see animals differently? Like, I guess, like, as a casual animal lover, you won't be able to love them the same way, because you'd be like, oh shit, they can't do this, or oh shit, I don't want them to do that.
It's definitely changed my mind on a lot of, like, dog breeds that I used to, like, either like or think were cool, and now I'm like, I can't believe people own these.
Right. For example?
Like, any kind of, like, brachiocephalic dogs, so that'd be, like, your
Bulldog?
Frenchies, your bulldogs, who have, like the Yale bulldog with, like, a really smushed face. Like, those dogs, go Yale. Those dogs are, like, bred to look like that, so they're bred to have really bad breathing problems. They can't be out in the heat, they get, like, tracheal collapse, and they have all these other health issues, and they get heat stroke, and they just try to die on you at all times if it's any kind of humidity outside.
Right.
So I feel like learning that, and, like, just from, like, overbreeding, and, like, a lot of dogs now have cancer and from just overbreeding and stuff. But I've also never had a pet, so I look at it still. I'm not like, oh my gosh, that was my dog, because I've never had that connection to a dog.
Yeah.
So for me, I still think of it like, why can't they just make that decision? It's
That
the
makes
best
sense.
thing for the dog. But I also am coming at it like, I've never had to be in that position. So.
Right. Okay, so vet school, you graduate, what's next?
So after our 3 years on the island, we have 1 year of clinicals.
Mhm.
At the end of clinicals, we take what's called the NAVLE, which is like almost like our board test kind of. And then once we pass that exam, then we can practice in the States. So I'll probably go back to the States, and I don't want to do residency. I don't want to do anything like that. I just want to work in GP, like general practice. So I'm just good to go. I'm like a working doctor after 4 years.
Okay, so for you personally, like, what's the end goal for being a vet? Like, how do you, what do you at, like, the peak of your career, like, the most successful?
Peak thriving.
Peak thriving.
Peak thriving. I would say I want to own my own clinic. Like, again, small animal. Maybe throw in exotics in there too. That would be like reptiles, snakes, birds, kind of that kind of thing. Because that also gets you a lot more money. So I want to own my own clinic, because then you make a lot of money. I am kind of controlling, Tim. I don't know if you've ever picked that up.
Oh,
I like to be in
all.
charge, so I feel like being my own boss would be lovely.
Right.
Yeah, so I feel like that'd be good. And that's how you like make the most money too, is unless you're like a board certified surgeon, is being like your own boss and running a clinic.
So when you run a clinic, is it like, because in some medical specialties, like for example, like plastic surgery, if you have your own like practice, like it's usually like one surgeon and then like the rest like nurses and secretaries. Do you, in animal clinics, is it more than one vet, or just like?
It honestly depends. Like the hospital I work at is technically a private hospital, but it's part of a chain, so we have like probably hundreds of vets.
Oh, okay.
But if I was going to do like my own little clinic, I would probably have like 1, 2, maybe 3 vets and then like a bunch of techs. So I'm definitely on the smaller side.
Yeah.
But you can do one doctor. Like it could just be me and a bunch of techs.
Okay.
Or it could be like me and like Nora.
Yeah.
Now that'd be fun.
I don't know how much work we get done, but
We would be so entertaining. But like that and then like a bunch of techs would also be fine. You can do whatever you want to do for your area.
what's the big distinction between a tech and someone who's actually a vet?
A tech would be like a nurse.
Okay.
So it's like you can go to school, but you don't have to. There's a way in Massachusetts or in a lot of states where you can just kind of get your sign off done at a hospital and have like a supervisor watch you do things, and then once you get everything checked off, you're like a tech.
Okay.
It takes like years, but you can do that, or you can go to school. But a tech would be like a nurse, is like the easiest equivalent.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like in the hospital, like, not shading any doctors, but like, I feel like nurses like do the brunt of the work, and like the doctors, you just come in there and just like
Sign off something.
Yeah, what the specialty is. I feel like in surgery, the doctors is the one who's actually like hands on, but is that how it is with the techs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, so I'm not a tech, I'm just an assistant, which would be almost like a medical assistant. Like I will restrain, I do give some drugs and stuff like that, but under supervision. So I'm like a little bit below a tech right now. But I do most of the work, the same for the techs. Like we restrain, we do all the treatments and everything. The doctor does like the initial exam, then they kind of leave, write up their notes, and they're like, oh, give him like 2 mils of ACE and this and that, and we're gonna start on the procedure. Like, okay, we have to, if it's like a fractious cat that wants to try to kill you, you just gotta try to like, you gotta get your cat gloves on, you gotta like
that's when
push
they have
it.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta like hold the cat down, and it's like trying to kill you, like stab it in the butt a few times with like some ACE or something and see if it numbs it.
I don't know what it was, but it was like a commercial for a device. It was like, it looked like scissors, but instead of it being like a blade, it was like a
I
square.
saw that.
And like,
you can grab your cat.
Yeah, you just pick them up. That's how I was like, okay. I can see that being useful.
Honestly, we could use that at Mass for sure. I was like, we have so many, because like, again, the animal's in pain, cats can usually be a little iffy anyways.
Yeah.
They don't know where they are, they're just like mad that you're poking them, like I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also trying not to get like my neck bit off by a cat or like get mauled in the face by a cat, so.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Cats are like,
They're so unpredictable.
and they're so quick.
Okay, but you like those gross hairless cats, so.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest cat.
I
It
just
looks
saw,
like
I meant
a
to
sphinx.
DM it to you, yeah, I just saw a really funny video of one, I'll make sure I send it to you after this. Because
Alright.
every time I see one now, I just think of, Tim.
I like them.
They're gross.
Alright, speaking of, okay, so we're talking about the Sphinx cat. What is categorized as like an exotic animal for like an exotic practice?
So that would be pretty much anything not dog cat. So I think technically like bunnies, ferrets, like rabbits, like that kind of stuff, lizards, snakes, and then usually avians and exotics like birds are lumped together. So like if you go to a practice for like your lizard, chances are they also see birds because avians and exotics tends to be their own like certification specialty thing.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'd probably also see like birds and stuff like that too.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to think of other unique animals. I mean like hamsters, like
That's
guinea
what made it
pigs.
exotic?
Technically, yeah. I mean, who's really gonna bring hamster to vet? No, I wouldn't. But
Mm.
like guinea pig, chinchillas, like stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So like, see, I don't really know like all the pathologies for like animals, but I mean, we had, me and my friend had a dog. Like he would go to the vet like for checkups, and like if he was like throwing up, but like on average, like what are you seeing? Like what would a vet see a pet come in for? If you had like a standard practice for like the everyday cat dog.
Standard practice would probably be like, I think my dog got into something, whether it be like some special brownies or something, and they're a little high, or it's like, oh, like my dog like is limping, kind of like remember how Theo was limping?
Oh yeah.
And he wouldn't put weight on it. Like that's when you'd go to your GP for, like
Okay.
not life threatening. Almost like as a kid, you'd go to your pediatrician, not just the ER.
Yeah.
So like you're feeling a little sick, your dog's acting weird, maybe it fell down the stairs, like who knows, like something basic like that. But I work in an ER back home, so I see like the hit by cars, like the gunshot dogs, like a lion came in once from a zoo
Oh shit.
to use our MRI machines. We have a really nice one.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, I was still in UMass, it was so sad.
That
That was
was-
right before Thanksgiving.
Incredible to see them like obviously like it was probably in some kind of cage and it was like
Well, no,
trapped.
it was completely sedated, and it was on like a stretcher, and they had people with real guns, tranquilizer guns, and like pretty much armed guards in case it woke up, they would have had to kill it. And it wheeled right through our ER, right into our neuro department. I can show you the pictures on Facebook. Like
That's
the
crazy.
paws were like the size of your face, and
Wow.
I missed it by like 2 days. I know, the one cool thing that happens, I missed it. Like sometimes penguins come in from the aquarium too for
Yeah.
MRIs and stuff, but I didn't get to see any of those either.
So okay, so say it's an exotic practice. Is there anything like obviously like pets, like you said, pet snakes, rabbits, things like that. Is there anything specific to those animals that like only exotic vets would see, or is it like they come in for like the same like just a little injury?
I don't have a ton of experience with it yet, but I know there's some things with lizards where, I'm gonna forget, there's certain breeds of lizards that are just constantly like calcium deficient or something like that, so if you don't have enough in their diet, they have like bad skin issues, and they like, skin starts peeling, stuff like that. So this winter, I'm actually working Monday to Thursday, like 40 hours, but at an Evans Exotics clinic. So I'll have way more information for you after I actually work there, but
Wonderful. Part
a lot
three.
of, part 3, lol. But yeah, a lot of like birds have a lot of issues with if they're not socialized properly, they're not getting enough activity, they'll like kind of pick at themselves or pluck their own feathers, they can be kind of stressed. So I think you see a lot of more like neuro stuff with birds,
Okay.
because they sometimes can act funny, but I don't know a ton about that yet. But
Gotcha.
I think we do exotics in either term 3 or term 4, so
Okay.
check back in then.
Wonderful. So the lion, if you would have been there, that would be your crazy experience.
Yes.
What would you say is your crazy experience that you actually or
There's probably 2. A gunshot dog came in.
Okay.
Anyone who knows Boston is familiar with that. Lynn is not the nicest place in the world.
Oh shit, okay.
And that's kind of near where I live. It's like maybe 20 minutes away. And there was a dog that came in, and on our little board in the ER, it will say like, dog is coming in, why it's coming in, and just a little summary so we know what's coming back to the ER. So it says like gunshot dog, like on route. We're like, oh great, okay. So it's like we're getting ready. We're like, okay, gunshot dog from Lynn. It's probably like a German Shepherd, a Rottie, a Pitty, like a bigger working dog, maybe a Husky. Maybe he was getting fractious, who knows? A pug comes in.
Look at that.
A little like black pug comes in, completely down in the hind end because it got shot in its like pelvis.
Yeah.
So the bullet's still lodged in there.
Mhm.
So the cops are following it too because that bullet's also in like a murder investigation. I guess the guy's car got like sprayed with bullets, and the guy in the lobby had a bullet in his leg, and that's whose dog it was. But he was like, "Don't treat me, like worry about my dog." So the dog.
What a guy.
What a guy, right? So the dog came in, and I had to go help X-ray it, but the cops had to follow me with the dog, so they wouldn't break the chain of custody, whatever, because the bullet was in the pelvis.
Oh, okay.
So the dog sadly ended up passing away, and then they had to go get the bullet out of the pelvis.
Damn.
So that was, I won't say cool because it was sad, but another actually cool story. It's kind of a little gruesome, but a big Roddy came in named Victor, and he's a frequent flyer at Mass Vets, like we see him a lot because he's kind of a, and he's kind of a, so we see him on our board again. What's coming in? So we see Victor, we see Roddy, we're like, oh, he's back. There's a caution sticker because we know he's kind of aggressive, so we give the owner like a basket muzzle. We have the drugs ready to go, like we know exactly what he needs. And then again, sometimes the front desk will exaggerate a little bit, or might not know exactly what's going on. They'll put like, dog is not breathing, and the dog's like sneezing, or something. Or like sometimes they're just like not quite accurate. So this one said intestines on the floor. We're like, oh my gosh, they probably have like a cut on their stomach. This Rottweiler turns the corner like on a leash and walks in. The proudest dog I've ever seen, like a big, handsome Roddy, like a big, thick boy.
That's what I had a Rottweiler.
Yeah, Roddies are gorgeous, but they always get cancer, which is really sad.
That's exactly how he died too. R.I.P. to a real one. He had lung cancer?
Yeah.
Guess what his name was?
What?
Smokey.
Stop!
Yeah, that's
How old was he when he passed? Like 8? Usually it's like they get it at 8.
I want to say he was older than that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because like we got him when I was like 3 or 4, and he passed away when I was like, I want to say 13 or 14.
Oh man, oh, so he was like 10,
He was like
11.
10,
Okay,
yeah,
that's not bad.
Solid age.
Usually they get it at 8 and they're like,
yeah, damn.
but yeah, so this Rodney and Victor turns the corner, and I just look, and I was just like, my jaw dropped. There was literally like jejunal loops, like duodenal loops just hanging out of his stomach. Like just hanging out. He was walking all proud. Like not a care in the world. And we're just like, let's get this sterilized because that's how you get like a nice septic infection.
Yeah.
So, but he's a mean dog, so we have to like throw a comforter. We have to like throw a comforter on him, and then we have to like IM him in like the butt with like a bunch of drugs, try to get him like sedate, and then we put him on his side and we try to make like a sterile field in like the middle of the ER. The vets are all around like packing his intestines back in, doing like a quick surgery so they can actually take him back to get it fixed. Yeah. But I guess he had some kind of abdominal surgery and ripped his own stitches out too. Like he had it stapled and he just ripped it out. And then his owner was just like, let's go to the ER.
Man, that's. I mean, I'm always gonna see stuff like that, but like seeing an animal just walking casually.
Oh, like he was just like the toughest guy in the room. He was so proud of himself. It was one of those really like big-headed Roddies. Yeah. With like the beautiful, beautiful dog. Kind of crazy, but beautiful.
I love dogs. I need another dog like ASAP.
What are you gonna get?
Tortoise.
Gonna name him Franklin?
No, we're not.
You're gonna name him Tortilla?
Tortilla.
I don't like that at all. Tortilla.
All right, so check this out.
Oh boy.
Do you know? It's not crazy, but do you know who the real Tarzan is?
The real Tarzan, like the original one from like the 50s?
No, he's a social media guy.
Oh,
black dude from Florida. Okay.
Surprised I don't know.
No, he's kind of like the modern day Steve Irwin, but like he messes around with like tons of different
Steve Irwin, like rest in peace. That was so sad that day.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, the reason I bring him up is like, what are your thoughts on like, because obviously he's not a vet, but like I guess I don't know what I would classify him as, but like
a Steve Irwin type.
Yeah, like what are your thoughts on those people? Because like they get famous, but like I feel like they didn't really like, put in the same amount of time to be like a specialist like a vet.
I mean, I personally don't really care because I'm not one of those like vet students who's like a vegan and is like protect animals at all costs. I'm more of a practical person, so if I'm like, you do you, like if the alligator eats you, like I could have probably told you that was gonna happen, but it's like if you like what you're doing, like it doesn't bother me at all. Like I watch a lot of those videos too, not that guy specifically, but just like I'm one of those people, I really want to pet a tiger cub. And I know how against like I shouldn't be for that, but like when you just see them, because like usually then if they're, not always, but a lot of times they're not raised in the best environments and they're like, they were kind of taken from the wild or whatever happened, like they shouldn't be like, you probably shouldn't be petting like wild animals. I'd be like petting like a bear or like something like that. Like, okay, it's sometimes fine, but sometimes it's gonna kill you. Yeah. So it's like that, I've always really wanted to just pet a tiger. So I'm one of those vet students who's like,
I want to pet I want to put a tiger cub. I thought that'd be cool to put off my bucket list.
They're so cute. Their little murder mittens are so big.
Murder mittens.
And I just want to boop their little snout too. They're so cute.
Have you ever seen like, this might be stereotyping, but like in the Middle East, they'll have like pet lions and tigers, and they just roam around compounds?
Yeah.
Is that frowned upon here?
It probably should be, just because it's like, you want them to be part of like, especially if it's like a lion, they're supposed to be part of a pride, there's like a social order, and you're just kind of keeping them locked up in your backyard. It's almost like you like lock up like a wolf in your backyard. It's like, okay, it's supposed to be a pack animal, like it's not domesticated, it's probably gonna end up mauling you one day, like,
Yeah.
I'm not for it, like I'm not one of those people who's gonna be like, stop it at all costs, like the world has bigger problems than that, but I am not exactly for that.
Okay.
But again, I would love to go pet a tiger cub, so I'm kind of a hypocrite.
I feel that. Okay, so like ethically, what are some animals that you'd be like, yeah, don't have that as a pet?
I mean, any kind of like big cat, like even when you get like savanna cat, I think it's you take I think we talked about this last time actually. And I think I said Justin Bieber paid like 15 grand for it, something like that. You take like a serval, I think it's called, just like a really pretty wild cat, mix it with just like a basic house cat, I think. And I think that if you get one that's too high on like the serval, like wildcat side, they can get, if you get a couple of them, they can get kind of crazy, but definitely like wolf dog hybrids, they're beautiful, but if you get a couple, they start having a pack mentality and then they can turn on you really fast and like then you're their prey kind of deal. So any kind of like wolf hybrid and kind of like big cat hybrid, obviously like the exotics, like having orcas and stuff like that. I love orcas, they're probably my favorite animal. Having them in like SeaWorld stuff, I don't agree with that. Anything like that, I'm terrible. I'm kind of a hypocrite. I'm not super
I'm kind of terrible.
yeah. But yeah, and definitely big cats are probably the worst. Or like people who have like monkeys and stuff, I'm always a little like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel.
What about you? What do you think is like the worst
Pet to have?
Yeah.
What worst thing to have? I don't know. I feel like a big snake.
Oh, like the people in Florida who have like the 16-foot pythons. Like I don't want any more than release it into their backyard.
Yeah, I feel like every time I've seen like someone with a big snake, it's been on the news for like the snake got out, like the snake ate them.
Yeah.
Just like what did you expect?
Why?
Yeah. My friend, he had a
They messed around and found out, right?
Yeah, for real. Fuck around and find out.
Okay, I said the PG version.
But my friend, he had a Nile monitor. You know what that is? It's not like an iguana, but like in that range of like size.
That's cool.
And it was in the bathtub, and it fucking bit him. And then he was like, "Oh no, we gotta get rid of him." And like they said, he said he grew like from like this to like pretty significantly within like a few like months.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, any kind of like, I guess that's a good point, like super big reptiles. Like if you want like a tarantula or stuff, I think tarantulas are pretty cool. I've held one before, and they're actually, her name was Rosie, she was really nice.
See, like I mean,
like if you're gonna have them as pets, they take out like their like venom and like all that stuff.
Oh, that makes more sense. I just feel like the pet has to have some sort of
like attachment to you?
Not attachment to you, but like it has to have some sort of entertainment value. You know what I mean? Like you should be able to play with it, or you should be able to like
so then why do you
roam
want
around.
a tortoise?
Because the tortoise can just walk around and eat the grass.
It's gonna play with you?
Okay, maybe play was the wrong word, but like
it's gonna entertain you.
Yeah, but like you wouldn't have the snake just roaming around by itself. You wouldn't have the tarantula roaming around by itself. I feel like animals like that, like when they need to be like supervised or like they could be dangerous by themselves, I feel like we shouldn't be messing with them. Yeah. Hence big cats, because I feel like.
Yeah, that's asking for trouble. Like if you have like a sanctuary where you're actually like rescuing them and you're like a licensed sanctuary, like I completely agree with that. Because you're rescuing them from like Dubai penthouses, New York City penthouses, people who have like these giant cats locked up in apartments. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I think Mike Tyson had 2 tigers in Vegas.
Somehow I'm not surprised.
That is, I mean, we're saying it's bad, but like that's kind of cool.
Oh, it's so cool. But it's like that's how you get eaten, and then you're on the news like, and then everyone's like, that idiot. Like, what were they thinking? They didn't see that coming.
For real. Okay, so I guess this might be like level 1 question, but people who work at a zoo, they're not vets, correct?
They do have vets who work at the zoo, but they might have one or two depending how big the zoo is. But they more have like almost like zoo techs. They were like the zookeepers and stuff like that. I'm actually not kind of sure what certificate for what I can't even speak right now. For exams, this is what happened to you. What certification process? I still can't speak. What am I trying to say? What qualifications maybe?
Yeah.
Certifications. That's oh god. What you have to go through to become that. But I'm assuming it's similar to being a tech, just for like exotics and zoo and stuff.
So the people, I guess, the people who you see at the zoo with like the khaki clothes on, those are not doctors, right?
Those would probably be like the zookeepers and like the people who do like almost like the techs in the medical field or like the nurses who do like daily maintenance, quarterly checks, like make sure everything's clean and they're being fed and stuff like that. And the vets probably come in like to do maybe they do weekly checks and make sure like take blood and make sure they're in like liver failure or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever actually seen a vet at a zoo.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Most people you see are like the zookeepers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a really hard field to get into. You don't make a lot of money as a zoo vet, and there's almost no openings, so you have to be like top of your class.
And why is it that it's so competitive?
I have no idea. It's not like everyone wants to do it. It's more just like there aren't that many openings, and there's more people who want to do it than the openings there are. So like Zach wants to do, I think, wildlife.
Okay.
But wildlife or zoo, something like that. But there aren't that many openings. I mean, he's really smart. He's probably top of the class, but so he'll probably have his pick of where he wants to go. But there aren't that many openings, and you don't make a lot of money either, which is kind of unfortunate.
Deal breaker.
Yeah.
There's one girl. She goes to SU and she spent the summer like going to Africa. And I saw her taking pictures like with like tranquilized like
with like elephants and stuff. Yeah.
I was like, that looks super cool.
One of my my term 6 friend who got me to go here, who was term 6 last term, she did that and she spent a summer in like South Africa or something working with like elephants and rhinos, and I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah, I think elephant might be my favorite animal.
Another thing on my bucket list besides like petting a tiger cub, which is terrible, I really, really want to be like cuddled by a baby elephant. I need to play with one. They're so cute.
When me and my sister went to Thailand, like we went to like the elephant sanctuary.
I would have been in heaven.
We got to bathe them, swim with them. I was like, yo, this animal right here is dead. This is it.
So you know how we view like puppies and dogs as really cute? Elephants view us as like we're cute.
No way.
That's why they like us, yeah.
Wow.
So whenever you see like an elephant kind of come up to you and like whatever, because they think you're cute.
Wow.
And that's why like the babies try to play with you sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Damn.
Elephants are fans. Have you ever seen like those videos where like somebody will be like swimming across a river and the elephant thinks they're in trouble and they like jump in and go pick them up and take them out because they're like worried about us? Elephants are the best.
Man, I feel like elephant might be my spirit animal. What do you think? Just say yeah. Just say yeah.
Yes, sure, Timothy.
All right. So last thing, give us animal vet school. Like, give us a hot take that you like.
Oh boy, on the spot.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Fun fact, hot take. Done this like in this with like a wow, something to think about.
Oh no, so much pressure.
All right, like
well, I have some, but I can't say them.
all right, like the best pet to have, or like.
Pets not to have. Golden Retriever, any kind of Labrador Retriever.
Really?
They're super. No, there's nothing personality-wise wrong with them, but they're so overbred. They're gonna have so many issues. You're better off getting some kind of mutt or like a less bred dog.
That's a hot take. Cause like when
other ones.
I think of like, I mean,
America's dog, Golden Retriever, right? Or like a yellow lab.
Wow, I've never been like a fan of them. Nothing against them. I was just like, I don't want this stereotypical dog.
I want a sassier dog.
Sassy might not be the word I'd use.
A personality.
But, okay.
Like Theo. Theo's a little sassy. He's a good personality.
I don't think I would choose. If I had my pick of dogs, I don't think I would choose Theo though.
Well, neither would I. She's a Great Dane, but that's just me. Or an Akita, but.
Ooh, Akita, I like that.
They're beautiful.
I've never seen one in person.
Corso, right?
Bingo.
You know who has an Akita?
Who?
Henry Cavill.
Oh,
Another
Superman.
reason why he'll be my husband one day. Another hot take.
Okay, Henry.
Dr. Victoria Cavill.
All right. Well, we appreciate Vic coming on today. She had her exams today, which she did great on.
Okay, Tim. Thank you.
But yeah, this is I forgot what episode this is. So this will be another episode of the Crew Talk. Thanks for having us, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.